Yeah, what's up?
Hey.
Can you hear me okay or
Yeah, you're fine.
yeah, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so looks like we're going over Fox today, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, sick. So I just had a quick look through what you sent. Is this first frog chip, I'm guessing?
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
okay. Awesome. Is this like a set you played or
Yeah, this was a set we played on Thursday. It was a net play bracket, and that was Grands. So,
Oh, okay, cool, cool. All right. Is there anything you feel like in specific that you wanted to talk about versus Fox, or do you just want to get sort of like my general thoughts and then go from there?
um, I don't know. I just find that I get overwhelmed by foxes like so much. Like sometimes I'm doing things that work, and I don't know why they're working. And then like I play against like a fast fox like Frog or like Mint would be like an extreme example. And I just get
Yeah.
completely destroyed, and it's like I don't know what is going on like at all.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I just want some sort of game plan. So I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done that in this situation because like right now it just feels like it's just random almost.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I get you. Okay, cool. Well, let's just watch through like the whole set then. I'll need to like watch just a little bit first, just so I get a rough idea of like where we're at in terms of like
Yeah,
gameplay or whatever. Because like you can see, I only managed to watch like the first part so far. But yeah, I feel like usually when it feels like that, where Fox is sort of overwhelming you, it's usually like you're either sort of playing at the wrong spacings, or it's like you're trying to do stuff that you don't have time for. Is sort of
yeah.
how I generalize it.
So yeah, this first game's kind of a wash. I win this game, but it's yeah. There's
Yeah,
like
okay.
a SPs twice or some shit, so it's not really like a good indication or anything.
Yeah, we can watch the next one.
In terms of like the set, I feel like I kind of get destroyed like all the games except for maybe the last game. He's kind of like destroying me, and then I kind of bring it back a little bit, but then he just clutches it out like game 4.
Yeah, yeah.
There might be something there. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you remember what stages it was?
yeah. So he counter-picked Yoshi's for game 2, and then I went Pokemon for my counter-pick,
Yeah.
and then I lost there pretty bad, and I was like, oh fuck that. So I went back to Yoshi's then for game 2.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I feel like those are the bugs they're trying to like overwhelm me a lot with speed. I feel like Pokemon and Dreamland are usually like my go-tos.
I'm not a big fan of Dreamland just because the camera shake kind of makes me feel sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not such
Fair
a stupid
enough.
excuse, but like, yeah.
I get it. I know there's some people that don't like the FD transformation either, like in the background.
Oh, yeah, like,
Yeah, because they're not used to it because they play on Slippy. All right, yeah, let's watch game two because, like you said, I think that one was a bit sloppy on his end.
yeah.
Um, cool.
So I don't know if it matters, but I'm getting like 5 FPS watching you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's really dropping frames on the stream.
Let me try.
It's not
I
too
share
important since
my
you're the one who has to
screen.
see it, but like, yeah.
How about now? Any better?
Oh yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Because I have Nitro, so I should be able to do it at 60 FPS. But so I don't want you watching it at like 10.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure because yeah,
Yeah. So.
this for sure can be a bit shit sometimes. Oh, yeah, I suck at edge guarding Fox, by the way, or Spacey in general.
It is hard. I think this game has some better examples we can sort of talk about.
Okay. After the stream, I'll do again. Sorry, I don't know what to play. I can see how like individual pixels like the background and shit. I'm getting like a warning in like the top right saying like,
oh really?
Has reduced video or audio quality.
Hmm.
Might be due to network conditions, but
Close Steam. Steam might be downloading some random shit. Is it any better now, or is it still?
the quality's it's slightly okay now. It's frozen, but it's like slightly better. But it's like
Let
it's
me
not
try
great,
dropping the quality, maybe.
yeah, like if it's just like 30 frames or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, let me know if it's any smoothness. I think it's more about the smoothness rather than.
Yeah. But on these the CRT. Not bad. Yeah, that was stupid. The second I hit fair on the C stick,
Wow, I did now. Yeah, there's definitely some spots we can talk about in here. So I feel like one of the big things is just like how you're playing sort of like these scrappy situations up close.
Okay.
And I feel like what's happening a lot is you're ending up like either beneath Fox or you're at a position where like you can't hit him very easily, but he can hit you quite easily. So I'm just gonna get up my like marker tool quickly. So, for example, it comes up in a few seconds here, I think. So, like, these sorts of positions, right? So, like, Fox is sort of above you, like this. He's just full hopped.
Yeah.
And it feels like, you know, you don't really have any moves out of shield that hit like this sort of area, right? Like all of your hitboxes are sort of like over here or like back here, or like right on top of you, right?
Yes.
So when it's a spot like this where like you can't hit the opponent really easily, but like they have so many threats coming down here, right? Like he has back air, he has down air, he has nair, like he has all these things that sort of cover like this sort of like zone.
Yeah, but it feels like I can't do anything when he's like full hopping at me. Like,
yeah, exactly. So it's like, so this is a spot where like you don't want to be playing the situation. Like your goal is you want to try and get out of here, basically. So the biggest thing you can do in Fox full hops like this is just to roll away. Obviously, like rolling to the right here is probably better than the left.
Yeah.
Because you'll end up more in the center. But say you're in the middle of a bigger stage, mixing up which way you go can help a lot. And that would be my sort of default, because that forces Fox to sort of like land down here without any move out, and then he has to like run and grab you or something. Like he can't just full hop and then be here and then like suddenly teleport over here.
Yeah.
So that would be my default for sort of getting out of this situation. If you did want to sort of like fight this and try and win the interaction, then like spot dodge can be really good here. Because you'll like avoid his hitbox and then you can shine him.
Oh, okay. When he's coming down from the air, like.
Yeah. So you'd want to spot dodge around now when he's at like the peak of his jump.
Okay, yeah.
And that can be good. Or if you are gonna hold shield, you want to wait until his shine is hit and then do your action. Because you see how you try to like grab early.
Yes, I get shine so often.
Yeah, you basically can't grab or shine like Fox's descending aerials usually if they execute well. So you'd want to like wait for this shine and then try to like roll away or attack out of shield or something.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a pretty big thing. I feel like I always try and hit after the aerial instead of waiting for at least a shine first.
Yeah. It's just like they have the advantage unless they're hitting you with like a really early aerial. And I think one thing that people get mixed up on here is if I go back. people say like, oh, Fox is hitting with a high aerial here, right? Like he's high up in the air. But
Yeah.
it's actually more about whether the character's going up, like rising while they're doing the aerial, or whether they're falling as they're doing it. Because like Fox could be all the way up here and be falling with a nair, and like it's still going to be safe on your shield.
Really?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, yeah.
So like a lot of people get mixed, tripped up with that. So you only really want to be attacking like immediately after the aerial if they're hitting it like rising, like the moves, like they're still ascending as they're hitting your shield, if that makes sense. We can go into a game and like I can show you a bit more detail if you feel like you can't imagine it that well.
No, I trust you. Like, it's fine. If you say that's how it works, then that's how it works.
No, but like I want you to like like be able to visualize it or like believe it, like not just because I say I say.
Well, if we have time, we can do that.
Yeah, okay. But I think that's a pretty important thing.
Okay, yeah.
Because like essentially I want you to change this situation from being like I can reversal Fox here if he hits my shield to I need to escape. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm so used to this Falco, and it's like, oh, if someone does a high area on shield, even if like a short hop, it's like, oh, I can counter this,
Yeah. So like with
Or
Falco, like if he down airs, for instance, high, then you can get a shine out usually.
Yeah.
Like even if they are descending.
It's just because when Fox full hop, it just feels counterintuitive. Like it feels like I can.
Yeah, for sure. And the good thing about the roll is that, like I said, if you roll to back here, he has to sort of like land down here, and then he has to run towards you, right? And he isn't throwing out any sort of move or anything during this time. So that's when you can start just like throwing out a move out of shield if you want to, like a aerial or a shine or something. And then that's how you get those sorts of reversals to work.
I see, yeah. So I haven't conditioned them yet, so it's not going to work.
Exactly, yeah. Cool, so that was the first one.
Would a wave dash back be good too? Like, I know it's like kind of the same thing as a roll, but like,
yeah,
it
depends on yeah, exactly. It depends on the time. So like, it depends when you decided to do it. Like, if you were wave dashing now, then maybe.
Yeah.
But it's just like a roll is like quite quick and can get you out of the way a bit quicker, right?
Yeah.
But that can be good too if you have time. And that one you just missed your dash back, which is a bit unfortunate. And this is another one way, so I'll end up below him, right?
Oh yeah. I'm so used to just like shield dropping to get out of there, but I should have just left immediately instead of hiding on the platform.
Yeah. So like, I like that you started from the platform, and then you're playing this mix of where you either go up here or you go down here. But then the whole point of going down here is so that you can get to the center, right? So by sort of staying here, you're just like leaving yourself in a really bad spot because now you have to deal with Fox right above you invincibly, right?
Oh, are these lessons saved, by the way? Like, can I watch the VOD for this, or?
Yeah, I'm recording it, so
Okay.
that'll be a YouTube VOD. You can watch back.
Shit, I should have lasered there. Not that level.
Yeah, so just to like count on this one. He missed his fast fall though, which is why it works.
Okay,
yeah. There's fast fallers I'll come, so I can't quite tell, but yeah, so like this is where the wave dash away can work really well, right? Like you were below him, and then you wave dash out of the way, and now you're in a good spot, right? Because he's just sort of whiffed.
I see, yeah. What would be your like go-to punish there? Would you like laser, like JC Shine, or like I did that?
Yeah, I'd say like so you can't really like true punish this now. And by true punish, I just mean like you can't punish the actual lag of the move here.
Yeah, because he's so fast. Like
yeah, he's gonna get out of it before you can get there. But you can like read his next option. So like it's probably gonna be some sort of like shield or shine or dash back, I'd say. So just like a down air through him can be really good here. Run up grab, dash jump shine, like you said.
Yeah, like, I've got a question about grab. Does that down throw shit work on Fox? Like,
Yeah, it's sort of like port dependent and
That was it. Okay, yeah. I remember
yeah.
seeing that on
So
Twitter ages ago, and I was like, I don't know if this works or not. So
it
I go for it sometimes, but it feels like a gimmick, so I don't really know.
yeah, the two spots I go for it is like if I'm right by the ledge, because then they can't really DI out, and you can get like an F tilt or a
Mm,
down smash, or like when they're at like literally zero, like 0 to
okay.
10, it works pretty consistent. But after that, like here, I would just up throw if I was to go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Throw. Still really good. That was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I
When
just
he's
looked
up on
for.
like the
Oh god.
platforms like that, should I be like challenging him at all? Or should I just be stay down where I was? Because I kind of jumped up with a shitty nair, and I don't know if I should like. Should I ever
Yeah,
challenge him
yeah.
when he's up there or?
I was gonna come back to it, but we can talk about it now. So like,
Okay.
um, pause when it happens. So all this happens. Yeah. So the problem with this is you need to be a bit more preemptive with when you go for the aerial. You can't like see him go to the top platform and then decide, oh, I'm gonna go up
Yeah.
and hit him.
I feel like that is a problem I have. I'm very like reactionary with like what I do. So like playing against someone who's fast like Fox, it's like a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, so
I'm just
I
not
think
used
it's
to it.
like the reactionary play is good, but you need to use it in the right spots and know when you have time to react and when you need to make a
Mm,
read. So like here, if you want to call out his double jump to the platform, you need to be starting to move up there now. Whereas it's sort of like you see this and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go up and hit him. But by this time, like he can very easily just move down here, right?
yeah.
And you can't really catch him. But if we move it to like a little bit beforehand, um, um, like the point where I would make like a platform read would be now. Like he's just full hopped in, and he's really far away, right? So
Yeah.
like if he's even like remotely paying attention, he'll be like, ah shit, I've put myself in a bad spot here, right? So then that's when they sort of like double jump away and try to get out. And so that's when you want to sort of make that call of like, okay, I'm gonna read the platform now.
Okay.
So like if I'll just pause it when I would sort of make that decision. Um, I, I back up on laser and then this happens, and it would be like as I'm backing up, I know that like, um, sorry, let me start that again. It would be as you jumped back out of his range, essentially.
Mm,
So you can't. It's sort of like you can't both do the laser and try to cover the platform, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Like in this specific sequence, like you'd have had to do that jump back and then immediately like go up there. Um, I'm just trying to look for a few more of these.
That's fine.
grabs.
I'm typing some stuff anyway.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let me know when you get to continue.
Sorry, go for it. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so this is another one. So you can see this sort of like angle here. It's sort of like a
Yeah.
45-degree angle, right? And this is like in pretty much all of Falco's matchups, this is like a really bad angle for you to be at. Just because again,
Yeah.
like you don't really have any hitboxes that hit here, right? Like the only ones I can think of are up smash and forward air, right? Which
Yeah.
both aren't that great here. Now this changes if you have like your back turned, for instance, because then you have back air, right?
Mm,
But when you're front facing, like Fox has all the ways to sort of hit you here, right? Like he could run off very easily here and like come down on top of you. But you can't really do anything to threaten him. So in this spot, I would be trying to just like back up. Like I'd probably be trying to get back here.
okay.
Again, like you said, wave dashing back could be great. But then what we do here is we try and down air out of shield, which sort of covers like this spot here. But Fox isn't here, right? Like he's up here. And that gets us hit because he sort of comes down on top of us.
Yeah, I kind of expected him to just kind of drop down straight away, so that's why I went for the dare.
Yeah, but it's like, how would I put this? It's sort of like if you look from Fox's perspective, right? Again, like the only spots you're threatening is like this sort of bubble. So it's like, why would he want to drop down into this, right? This is sort of a danger zone for him.
Yeah.
So you want to think about like not just the threats from like your perspective, but from the opponent's perspective. Like, what are they scared of, right? Like if I'm fighting Falco, I don't really want to be in this bubble where I could get down aired or back aired or whatever. I want to try and fight from this like angle, right? Which is why they use like, you know, so much full hop and like platforms and all of that, because it sort of avoids that horizontal space, right?
Yeah.
So then this is another one where we tried to like move at the wrong time, right?
Yeah, I definitely thought I could punish that.
So again, just like hold shield that little bit longer. Wait for the shine, and like even with this one, you know, he'd have messed up his shine, right? And then he could have just hit him. Yeah, probably talk about this one because this happens quite a lot. So, like when people feel like they're getting overrun by Fox, I feel like this is the sort of thing that's happening a lot. Where they're just like running and shining you a bunch, right?
Yeah.
So I think the main problem here was just that you did a roll away, which sort of gave him a lot of time to like catch up to you and get the shine, right? And if you're really unlucky, it can hit you at a bad timing where you just fly off stage and you don't hit the ground, basically, which puts you at a really awkward angle. So what I would be trying to do here is just either do an in-place getup or a tech roll in, or like miss tech roll in, and that way if you get shined here, you'll just like fall to ledge. Like you'll go this way, and then you can just fast fall to the ledge. I don't know if you're any good at that.
Oh, it's kind of like the slide off thing.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. It's just about like timing it so that you don't fall past the ledge, essentially. Or if you roll into like over here, then you might get a tech chase, but then he's like comboing you in the center of the stage, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot better than getting hit by like this, right? Because you should
I should have died here.
Yeah, exactly, right. And yeah, it's all just because of that tech roll away. So I think it's important not to panic here.
I was definitely spooked here for sure. Like I was like, oh my god,
I gotta get away. Yeah, and then it just puts you in a worse position. Like you just gotta sort of like accept you got hit, and then start to play defense. Is how I sort of think about it. Because especially on this stage in Fountain, it's very easy to get like overwhelmed by all of these like, you know, really fast like run up shines and stuff. That was really nice. Fortunate.
I'll see it, but
yeah, so like you did there, right? So you just fell to the ledge because you got shined over here. And then nothing bad is going to happen to you on the ledge, you know? Like, you have time to, like, refresh, you know, take a bit of time. Like, the end result of this is he got 18% and then you ended up in center stage, right? So it's not always going to be, like, you're immediately going to die. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind. Another thing that can help when you're sort of scrapping with Fox in these spots as well is just to try and crouch cancel. So, like, here, for example, he tries to wave shine jab. And, like, this could have been a CC shine, right?
yeah.
Or, like, if Fox tries to nair, that can also be a CC shine. So a lot of the time, what's happening when Fox is like rushing you down like this at low percent is he's catching you like during a jump or like when you're not crouch canceling, and a lot of the things he's doing is like if you just hold down and wait for him to hit you, like you can reversal him in like quite a big way.
Yeah, I do. Do you mean like hold down before he like hits you at all, so like you're crouching, or do you mean like
Yeah,
as he
so
starts to hit you, you're kind of holding down?
I'd probably be crouching like I'd get hit by the drill, and then I'd be trying to like shine or spot dodge here, and I'd just keep holding down.
Okay, yeah.
And then if he does hit me with something weak, like a nair or a jab or something, then I'd just get to shine him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like if you just end up in a bad spot in the corner, a lot of the time you can just like just sit there holding down, and it's like unless they literally run up and grab you, there's not much they can hit you with at low percent. It's gonna do anything. I think it's important to take your time when you get hit to the ledge as well, because it can mess up like your ECB. If you're familiar with ECBs at all.
I know like the basic principles of it, but like I don't really know how it affects Falco. Like, does his recovery moves affect his ECB?
Yeah, it's just sort of like the different ways you grab the ledge can change like how you have to do your ledge, at least ledge dashes. It doesn't affect other options as much, but by doing like a refresh, like a double jump or an up B, you reset that ECB, and then it's more consistent, right? Whereas like getting hit off with a shine is like different to getting hit off with like other moves.
Yeah.
For example.
I've got a quick question about ledge refresh.
Yeah,
I see a lot of like Falcos, well, especially like top Falcos. They always do like a shine up B when they're like stalling. Is there a reason for that? Because I feel like it just wastes a frame or something.
No, so it doesn't really matter. So like with ledge stalls, it's a frame perfect input anyway. The only thing that dictates whether your stall's fully invincible is when you get rid of the ledge, like when you drop off of it, because essentially you're locked out of grabbing the ledge again for I think it's 29 frames or something like that, which matches up with your intangibility. So essentially you have to drop frame perfectly, and you could do whatever you want in those 30 frames, and you wouldn't be able to grab the ledge again, because you're sort of like locked out. So it doesn't matter if you want to shine up B, if you want to up B, if you want to side B.
I see.
You could do whatever you want in those 30 frames, and then as soon as they're up, that's when you can grab the ledge again.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I always saw like top players doing it. I was like, I feel like they're wasting a frame. I must be missing something here. This is.
No, the only characters that have like stalls that aren't frame perfect are the ones that have like invincibility built in. So like Sheik, Mewtwo, Zelda, like those sorts of characters. But every other character is a frame perfect, and it just depends on when you release the ledge.
Okay.
But yeah, I just felt like taking your time a bit there would have helped, because that might have been why you got this 20 winner. And also what can happen sometimes when you're on ledge is like you'll refresh a couple of times and people will sort of like give away what they're trying to do. Like they might just start full hopping over and over again, or they might just sit here waiting for like a double laser or something. So you can sort of use that time to get a bit of a tell on what they're trying to do. Okay, so I wanted to go back to that first game actually, because there was a couple things in there that I thought would be useful to talk about. Mainly to do with like the options you're picking at low percent. Because I think that also might be a factor, is like the hits you are getting aren't being that rewarding because they're not setting the opponent up in the right ways for the
that's something I do struggle with. It's like it feels like I don't get a whole lot when I do open box. I get like a back air, and it's like, okay, well, I get rid of shit from this.
Yeah. So like the up smash here, for example, obviously doesn't do anything.
Well, I was just a little kind of like I shined him, we didn't go anywhere, and I shielded to get up attack, and I was like, oh shit, I'll just do the first thing that came to my head. And, like,
Yeah.
in that case, but yeah.
But yeah, ideally you want to get like a grab or a shine out shield or a down.
Yeah,
probably. And then there's another one here, I think. Oh wait, no, it's afterward. And that's, yeah, I mixed up. He comes up here maybe. Yeah, so like we early net here as well, right?
Yeah, at 0 is not a good idea.
And it's like you want to get him to at least like 30 or so, 20, 30 maybe, before you go in for this.
Yeah.
So my sort of rule for like super low percent versus nearly all characters is I'm only looking for grabs, shine, late aerials, and lasers, and maybe spaced back air. They're like the only things I'm looking for really. The only exception would probably be like if they're in the air, then like Nair can set up well. But other than that, like, you know, if you hit the opponent with like a rising aerial at 0, you're just not gonna get anything, right?
Yeah.
And the risk you took for this was, you know, you could have got up tilted, you could have got shield grabbed, you know, like all these things.
I think I was just trying to get out of there, honestly. Like, I was just trying to Nair drive by and just run off. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. And it's like, I think you want to be a bit more precise about, well, there's other ways you could do that, right? You could full hop over him, like this. You could roll through him and get here. You could go up onto this platform and then waveland. But then if you wanted to attack him here, then that's when you probably need to go for either like dash, jump, shine, or a grab, or a late aerial. But it's sort of like, I think you're trying to cover, like, do too many things at once with an option, and it's sort of like, it's not great for taking center, but it's also not great for hitting Fox, and you know, sort of like doesn't get you much value, right? So yeah, I'd want you to be a bit more specific about like, what do you think Fox is actually trying to do here? Because, you know, like, if you thought you would dash dance, then, like, doing a late aerial is probably better. You know, if you thought you would shield, then grabbing or running shining is probably better. You know, like, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to get me the most value here?
Yeah, you're right. I just think I wasn't thinking at all, honestly. Just,
yeah, that's fair. It's one of those things where, like, it feels decent, because, you know, you hit them, you get a bit of percent, and you get center, maybe, but...
Yeah,
it's
but
sort
I do
of
get
like...
smashed. It could have been way worse, like...
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's still quite risky, and there's sort of like an opportunity cost, right? Like, you could have done better things there.
Yeah.
So got more. But then, you know, if Fox is at like this percent, then that's when I'd be way more willing to, like, nair him. Yeah, like a couple more examples. Yeah, so like I thought this roll was great. This one works out a lot better. So I look at the timing on the... like, you shined your shield and then you rolled, right? And now you've gone from a really bad spot to, like, you know, you're sort of, like, a little bit of a disadvantage. Like, Fox can still move a bit before you, but it's not by much, right? And that lets you get away with a laser. And, you know, if this had been the right way, this could have been a really big opening, right? Yeah. But, like, that one change to the timing there completely changed this whole stock, right? Like, this could have been shine into the corner and to, like, get double shined or whatever. But instead it's, you know, you roll out, get back to neutral. Got really good spacing. So this is one of the only spots where I'd say Nair might be worth it, would be here. Where it's like the down air can't really catch his jump that easily. But the Nair would like catch him jumping, right? But even then, you know, you could do stuff like full hop shine over here, for example. Or you could like dash dance and wait for the jump. But again, like early down air isn't going to get much, right?
How reasonable is it to do like the kind of jump shine to catch a Fox jumping out of shield? Because I've heard people talking about it, but I don't think I've done it once in my life.
It's really hard because like they can jump like this way, this way, this way, you know.
Okay, yeah.
But I think both full hop shine up here and like short hop up air, like dash short hop up air, like around here, can be pretty good. but it's sort of like quite a big call out, and it doesn't really cover anything else.
Okay, yeah.
But it's sort of like that's also one of the only ways you have to deal with full hop at this percent. So it's sort of like, or at least to sort of like hard punish them for it.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth throwing in sometimes, like especially if you watch Fiction. He does a lot of like call outs on full hop in those sorts of ways that are really good. Like, I know you said he SD'd a couple times this game, but I do also think you were playing this game way better than, or at least the Yoshi's game. I guess we haven't watched the.
I kind of get destroyed on Pokemon.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no, Yoshi's felt closer. He was kind of styling on me, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy." And then I started bringing it back a bit, but I think I was in the palm of his hand the whole time. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is the right time to look at the platform thing, right? And it's sort of like, you know, you're up 3 stocks to 1, so there's no reason for you to sort of like try and engage with any of this if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But if you are going to, then again, it's sort of like you want to pick your moment when you sort of set up like this sort of spacing here, where it's sort of like you have enough range to be able to sort of attack over here, so that if he tries to move back, you'll still hit him, right? Whereas in that one before, it was sort of like if he moves back, he's going to be outside of your range, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah, so you essentially want to be able to like almost overshoot to like hit where he's going.
What would you go for to attack him at like this percent? Would you go for like a dare? Or would you try like a shine waveland? Or
yeah, like full hop dare, full hop aerial, like full hop full hop shine. But again, if it was me, I probably just wouldn't even engage in this because I'm up 3 stocks
we've
to
got
1,
such
you
a
know?
lead, honestly.
Yeah. But that is how I would go about it, and I think the higher the percent gets, the more worth it is to go for. But then the other thing is, you know, like he just came down here, right? And like this is what you're aiming for, is to try and get like a laser at this timing when he's trying to come down. Like you're either trying to get that or you're trying to jump up and hit him, right?
Yeah, so this is like part of the problem I have with like the neutrals. Like I don't really know what I'm like looking for, like in that situation. Like, I was dash dancing there, but like I don't really know why I was dash dancing. Like honestly, when I look back.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the two things you're trying to play around, like I said, is like him trying to jump off and hit you, is what you're scared of, and you're also looking for him again to like sort of fall down from the platform, and then that's when you can try and either play a landing mix up or like get a laser out.
Okay.
I think one thing that can really help versus Fox is that you can sort of like dash dance to cover if he sort of tries to jump at you, and then you could say like back at him or something. And then if you see him land out of your range, then that's when you can set up a laser safely. Because what you don't want to do is have him really close, like down here, and then try and laser, right? Because he's just going to hit you out of it a lot of the time. So that would be the two things I'm looking for here, at least. And if he just stays up here forever, then it's like, you know, he's not doing anything either, right?
Yeah.
So at the very least, if you're the one up, you don't have to do anything. And if you're the one down, then you could try and either... again, like you want to sort of close the gap so that you're sort of like in this sort of zone. And then from here, that's when you can hit him. Does that all make sense? Or...
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. So like,
it is, yeah, yeah. Don't worry.
I'll rewatch this VOD probably like multiple times.
Yeah,
honestly, but...
for sure. I think with this one, what would really help as well is, again, we're sort of at this like awkward spacing, right? Where you do have shield drop down air, and like shield drop laser and all those things. But if Fox sort of like goes up here, right, like this sort of full hop, then it's kind of hard for you to deal with, right? Because he's at like a weird spacing for you. But what you can do is like move backwards here. So you could like wave dash back, for example. And then he tries to sort of like run this way to sort of space around you and control like this sort of zone. But then you're back here, so then now you can sort of like get a laser out if you want to, like drop down or whatever, or full hop and go over here.
This was something I was trying because like I was working on my shield drops and I was like, oh, one of these foxes just kind of go aggro on me on like side plat. So like sometimes I just go to side plat to try and bait out like an option so I can shield drop shine them.
I think that's good. The issue is like so you want to do those things when they hit you with something that's like, say they just like nair up at you and it's really unspaced, or they hit like a rising bear on your shield, then that's when you can shield drop laser. But if they're just sort of like not waiting but sort of like jumping around your shield like this, you don't want to just try and shield drop laser because this happens, right? Like you want to do those shield drop actions once you've sort of confirmed that you can get them, almost.
That was a bit jumpy, honestly.
It was good for him. But that's what I was saying. You know, if you can sort of like move backwards and create that space, then he would have been here, and you would have been over here, and suddenly he can't hit you anymore, right? Like
that's such a UCF curse, honestly. Where it's like, before UCF, I would have waved land. Yeah, exactly. I would have waved. I would have waved dashed off that platform every day of the week, like 5 years ago. Trust me.
For sure. But yeah, definitely try and implement that more. And so like moving back to here, also full hopping can be really good. Getting up here.
I need to full hop more, honestly, especially when I'm in the corner. Like that's something I hardly ever do.
Yeah, like I'd say your platform game should mainly consist of like shielding and looking for like shield drop shine and shield drop laser, moving backwards, full hopping, or also just like down airing on the platform can be pretty hard to deal with as well. Like if you if I go back quickly, if you'd have just like short hop down it out of shield, then there's a chance he would have just like jumped into it, right? Because your down air sort of hits like this sort of zone.
Yeah, but I'd have to do it preemptively though, right? Like I couldn't like.
It's preemptive.
Yeah.
But what you can also do, which is nice, is you could drift back with the down air, like jump backwards with it, and then it sort of both defends you and creates that space that you're looking for, and that can be a really good option as well.
I'd just be afraid of like trading and having like bad DI on the back air.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. So you want to sort of space it so that like you're going on top of him, if that makes sense. Like you'd want to jump forward here if you want to clean beat him.
Yeah, like aim for his head as opposed to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like pretty much, got you.
But yeah, I think if you like tried to do like all those different things, like it's a lot for Fox to try and deal with, honestly.
I was dead there.
Yeah. Nice, this is really good. I think like I think you're spacing around Fox like a bit more than you give yourself credit for. Like you obviously seem to have some sort of intuition for like Fox in some of these neutral spots, like here for example.
Yeah, like I have played a lot of Foxes. It's just it doesn't feel like I know what I'm doing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It was just like here, for example, I thought you spaced around his full hop really well and you baited something out and then you went in and like that was really good. And then that one as well. Again, it just feels like it's probably these up close situations that are a bit less intuitive.
Yeah. I'm not very good at the scrap part. Like
yeah, for sure. There's another one. So the roll was good. And then after the roll, a lot of the time people up tilt here, right? Or back here.
Yeah.
Because it sort of covers like this zone. So it's sort of covering if Fox wants to try and like immediately run at you to cover the roll. So what a lot of the better Foxes will do is they'll jump over you like this and full hop. And it's sort of like if you throw out any sort of move, like up tilt or back air, they get over it and then they can punish you, right? But if you shield, then they also just get like a shield pressure scenario, right?
Yeah.
So again, there's a couple things you can do here. So if I just draw that full hop again, sort of like this. So you could do your own full hop to get out of there. And you could also throw out a move while you're doing it if you want. It's like full hop back here.
Yeah.
You could wait a little bit and then up tilt. And that can also catch them full hopping over you. You could dash back and get over here. And then they land sort of like where this blue line is, right? But then you're all the way back here.
Yeah, like a retreating laser there would be like really good.
Yeah, retreating laser, retreating back air are both really good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that's when Fox can start just like running at you again, right?
Yeah.
But then that's when he loses to the back airs and the up tilts. So again, you sort of want to like you were saying before, sort of condition Fox to like take these risks to try and hit you. Like,
yeah, because I feel like this happens to me a lot actually, where I'm in this kind of spacing and I go for an up tilt and the Fox just full hops over me and just like destroys me. I'm like,
yeah,
why did that work? You know, like I'm such an idiot. Why was I thinking that up tilt worked? But yeah.
Yeah, so it's sort of like you want to sort of default to the safe option more so than the high risk, high reward option. And I think what can contribute to that feeling of like, oh, Fox is rushing me down, he's, too hard to keep up with, is that like a lot of the time you end up throwing out a move that sort of like puts you in an awkward spot or at a disadvantage, like this up tilt or like the back airs or whatever. Whereas if you just don't throw them out in the first place and you just move away and create space, it actually becomes really hard for Fox to like actually hit you. Like a lot of the time he has
to neutral where I can laser him pretty much.
Yeah, like a lot of the time he has to sort of like bait something out of you first to be able to actually hit you, like these up tilts or back airs or whatever. Because like this full hop, like he could have died for you, if you like just waited and turn up tilt or like full hop back at him, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's also important to sort of think about like what risk is the other person taking when they're doing all of these like really aggressive things, right? I also feel like you can maybe back air a little bit more as well. So like here, for example, like just a late back air would have absolutely destroyed him, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you set up like the jump outside their range, which you already seem pretty good at doing, you can get a lot of mileage out of that. If they try to short up aerial or they try to run up shield, like the back air is just really good versus all of those. Yeah, see like there, right? Like even if it doesn't hit, like it's really hard for Fox to just punish this, right? Like you get
when you do like
back.
When you do like a back air, do you like go for the auto cancel or do you try and like fast fall L cancel?
No, I think this one's better where you fast fall L cancel.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not really sure sometimes.
Yeah, so the big reason this one is better is because you have all these frames where like you're just jumping and you're not doing anything, right?
Yeah, like I could be lasering here as well. But it's kind of
yeah. So like first of all, so first of all, the opponent doesn't know what you're trying to do here, right? You could be lasering, you could be aerialing, you could be doing a double jump, you could be doing a waveland. Like there's a lot of threats here, right? And like the fact that they don't have that visual cue, like when you just AC bear, means that it's a lot harder to punish, even though it's laggier.
Okay.
And the other thing it lets you do is it lets you change your decision, right? Because you don't have to make a decision until you're literally like down here. Whereas when you do an AC bear, you're sort of like locked into that, right? Like the only things you can do is drift. So if you saw that and you were like, oh, I don't want to do this bear anymore, you could like jump away or waveland or something, right? Or land and then shield. So I personally prefer those like late back airs that you're doing. And then I think there's this person in particular as well. I think you could be doing a lot more late aerials because he's really looking for that like shine at shield.
So that's
right?
part of the being like me being bad at the scrap and like also being overwhelmed. So I just kind of panic back to like noob mode.
And you're like, I need to throw out an attack, right?
Yeah, get the aerial out as fast as possible. I know that's a bad spot. I'm not disciplined enough, honestly.
Yeah. So I think what we want to do is sort of change that response to like either I'm gonna try and get out the way instead. Like I'm not gonna try and fight my way through. I'm gonna try and like reposition. And just like having a better idea of like when you're actually in a good spot versus a bad spot. Like I'd say this is a good spot for you, right? Like this is where we want to be thinking about hitting the shield.
Yeah, especially since I caught him with the laser, so...
Yeah, or like this one as well, right?
Yeah, I'll do that again.
Or even just like run up grab can work as well.
Yeah.
Let's get up game 3.
Ready? Go!
There's another like high aerial, right? So again, just to reiterate, I'd be looking for late aerial, dash dance grab, dash jump shine, or a laser here probably would be like the main things. So I think this is a big one that happens to a lot of people as well. So you're sort of trying to jump in a space where like he can hit you, right? Like you land here, and you see how you jump, and then like you try to jump backwards, and I think you actually try to laser. So one of the most important things versus any character really is assessing like, do I have time to get a laser out, or do I need to do something else, right?
In your opinion, for that spacing, could I have gotten out like a retreating laser, or was I just too close? Like I would have been hit anyway.
I think
I did like the turnaround laser instead of the retreating one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think you could have got a retreating one.
Okay.
But he still could have done something like run up power shield maybe, but like this up smash would have just whiffed, for example. But yeah, like whether the opponent can hit you for a laser or not depends on like a couple of things. So the spacing is the most obvious one. You know, if Fox is here and you're here, it's a lot easier for him to hit you than if he's back here, right? But another factor is the frame advantage. So like, you know, if Fox just whiffed an up smash, for example, he doesn't have as much time to work with, right?
Yeah. So
like, even if he was right next to you, if he's just whiffed an up smash, then like he can't hit your laser even if you're right next to him, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I can go over it. Let me go over it in game. This one sort of trips people up a bit. Hang on, because this is quite important. Like in terms of like game plan stuff, I think this is one of the biggest things. Right. Is it still screen sharing, by the way?
Yep, I can see.
Training mode. Fox.
Right. So recording. So I'm just gonna shoot a laser like this, or I'll do like a jab and then I'll laser. So like Fox can hit you here, right? This one. Like if you were both like essentially stood still. So if I go from like here. Like Fox can very easily shine you here, right? So that's sort of like when the frame advantage, so like how much time each character has, is completely even, right? Like I moved at the same time as Falco. But then also the spacing, right, was what you can see on screen. But if, for example, I whiffed an up smash here, oops. Let me just wait for the jab. If I just whiffed an up smash, like I can't hit him for lasering anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in lag now, right? Like that's quite an extreme example. So like maybe let's use up tilt, because that's probably a more realistic example. Like I just up tilted, so even though I can move now, I can't get there in time anymore, right? I'm just gonna get shot. But then if it was Falco that whiffed, for example, so let's say you whiffed last match and then tried to laser. Or I think a better example would be like back here. Like if I tried to do that, like Fox could be all the way over here and still like hit you, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough time anymore. Like I could probably be like, you know, halfway across the stage. So that's how much the sort of the frame of passage, like how much time each character has, really makes a difference there. And you need to sort of be like constantly assessing that when you're gonna laser. Like, does the opponent have time and space to hit me or not?
Yeah.
And then the third part of that is also whether they're in shield or not. Because obviously if they're in shield here, he can't get over to you, right? Because he can't just like dash at you. Whereas like if he's just not doing anything, he has like a bigger threat range, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. Awesome.
I feel like he definitely could. I don't know. Like he could like wave dash out a shield and just dash.
Yeah, you could.
He'll get there pretty fast, but yeah, it does waste frames, which could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah. But it's like not as fast as this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I just do it at the start, like I'm getting so much closer than like, I can't wave dash with Fox, but there we go.
That's fine.
But it especially comes up with a full hop. So like when Fox is on the ground, normally he can full hop like this, right? But if he's in shield, he can only full hop like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to space around full hop with a laser when they're in shield already. But yeah, that was just a quick example to get you thinking about what's it called? Sort of the time and the space you have for lasers.
I feel like I'm just uncomfortable with Fox because he's just so fast that like sometimes I don't have time to even think about that. Honestly, it's just like I need to throw out a laser because I'm Fox. No, that's just wrong.
Yeah. See, so what you gotta sort of think about is like when you don't have that time and space to throw out a laser, it's like you gotta try and do other things to defend yourself.
Yeah, some sort of defensive.
Yeah. So if I go back to it, like when you watch this now, like you're at a disadvantage, right? Like he can move before you. So does it make sense that you have to be further away to be able to laser now? Yeah. Awesome. That was the goal. So that was another example of like the early bear versus the late bear, right? Like if this had been a late one, then you'd be in a much stronger position on the shield.
Yeah.
Because we're going for that early one, it sort of like means he can just hit us out of shield, right? Oops, this is a So again, it's like I want you to really pay like specific attention here. So why weren't you able to laser at this rangeness?
Like fucked up my shy. I got
Yeah, exactly, right. So like if this had just been like you're both in neutral, like nobody's doing anything, then this would have been a really safe laser, right? But because you messed up here, suddenly you don't have that option anymore. Or at the very least, it's a lot riskier to laser. You can still do it sometimes, but not with as much, just freedom to do it as you would usually.
Yeah.
So like the switch in your head needs to be like, as soon as you mess up here, you need to be like, I can't laser anymore. I need to like dash dance or maybe go to the platform.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was about to ask anyway. Like, what would you do in like that example?
So
like a defensive option.
Yeah. So the goal once you're in this spot is you want to get to a position where you can laser safely again, essentially.
Yeah.
Either laser safely again, or you want to try and call out how they're going to like hit you, or like if they're gonna wait or something like that. So like yeah, an easy one here would be just to like full hop wave onto the platform, or maybe dash back and then like throw out a move or something to try and hit him moving in. So this is another one, right? So this is one where you need to laser a bit further back. And it's funny because like a lot of these lasers, like if you'd have just shot them with better spacing involved, or like at better times, then like a lot of the approaches he's doing would have actually got like kind of destroyed by the laser. Like this nair, for example. If you'd have backed up a little bit more, you'd have like shot him out of the air and then got like a big opening, right?
Yeah.
So like that's the sort of like razor thin margins versus Fox, where it's like if you miss space even a little bit, he blows you up, right? But then if you do space correctly, he'll get blown up for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's just sort of the matchup.
I think I hate that sometimes. I was trying to DI up. So
Oh
I
yeah, the
accidentally
buffer.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so this was that sort of spot I was on about earlier, where I was like, if you just hold down here, he's gonna try and hit you out of a jump, right?
Yeah.
With like this nair. So then that's one where you could just like crouch cancel shine him, for example. Because what every Fox is looking for there is like they want Falco to do a bad laser here, and then they're gonna hit them out of it, and you know get all of this going, right? So you want to sort of deny them that by either like shielding or crouching, rolling through them. Just don't jump here, because you're just gonna get hit. Is how I sort of feel about it at least.
Like he's all over me pretty much, and that's why it feels like I was getting.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, I do agree that's definitely how it feels. But again, think about what's he giving up, right? Like with this full hop read he goes for example, you know, you could have just like run under him, right?
Yeah.
Like if you'd have been a bit more patient, held shield for a split second longer, you probably could have just like rolled and got out. Or like with this one on the platform. You know, if you'd have shield dropped now, for example, or maybe wave dashed off this way, he's gonna go this way to try and get behind you, and then you'd have got center back, right? So there's always some sort of like hole. It's just that sometimes you need to be a bit preemptive to like get it, because otherwise they sort of like it's like checkmate if you wait too long, sort of thing.
I think that's what I was saying. Like I played too reactionary. Like I was definitely trying to like shield drop shine his ass.
Yeah, and sometimes you just gotta
like half my body.
Yeah. Like sometimes you just gotta make that move first. But then there's other ones like this one in the corner where you gotta wait that little bit longer to wait for him. So that's why I sort of said at the beginning, like it's sort of like what spots do you want to try and react in, and what spots do you need to like be a bit more preemptive. But yeah, I always try to ask like what are they giving up by all of these things that they're doing, because they're always giving up something. Like no matter how like overwhelming it feels, there's always some sort of like gap. You know, like this one for example. You know, what if you wave dashed forward and just shined him, right? Or what if you like full hopped and went over him, and then he has to play like a full hop double jump sort of mix up. So I think with these ones he's just like reading you a lot in these like pressure scenarios.
Yeah.
And it can even be just as simple as like just rolling at different timing. You know? Because like if you wait like a second longer here, then he might be like, ah shit, he's not actually gonna roll, and then he'll try to go in, and then that's when you get past him, right?
Yeah.
So it can also just be about the timing of the options you're picking.
I think you have a point. Honestly, I think it just comes down to I was like flustered because I was like down so much, and he was just like destroying me the first few stocks. So I was just like, I was trying to do everything as fast as possible. So like, tempo becomes kind of like one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100% get you. But yeah, I think like now you have a few more like tools to deal with that, and I think it can be especially useful when you're playing a fast player like this to just like take that moment on the respawn platform to sort of slow them down. You know, grab ledge a few times. You know, just try and like slow the pace down to what you're comfortable with. I watched a bit of the fourth game just to see if there's anything else, but I think it's mostly the same sorts of things coming up between those games. So that's quite good because it'll be like sort of not an easy thing to fix, but it seems like it'll be something that's coming up often in your game.
I can't remember much about this game, but I did get him the last stop.
Yeah.
That was better than that game though.
So this is a really good example of doing something preemptive, right? So he's going for that same setup where he sort of like tries to jump to get close, and you're just like already up there with a down arrow. And that sort of stuff's set, right?
Yeah, I like when you say that. It feels like I don't do anything right, but then you're like, oh,
no, you're definitely doing a lot of stuff right. It's just the stuff you're doing wrong is getting you killed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just how melee is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like this one, right? Like, it might feel like, oh, he's reading me every time, but like, look at this one, right? Like, you roll in and he full hops up here, and you got yourself out the corner, right? So it's not like he's, what's it called? Just like completely in your head, like reading you every time. Like, you're definitely getting spots where you're guessing right as well.
I need to like say that to myself when I'm actually playing, because when you're playing and you're like, they're reading you and stuff, it feels like they are in your head. But, like,
yeah. You definitely, like, anytime you do something good or you win a situation like that, like, you want to give it as much weight as when you lose it, which is very hard because humans like to sort of be biased towards, you know, when stuff goes bad. But yeah, I think it's important to take note of. This isn't another one where we get it out a bit too hastily, right? And it's especially hard on Yoshi's because you don't have that extra space to like do a retreating laser, right?
Yeah.
Like
if he's still invincible when he hits you with an up smash.
Yeah, I think he was as well. But you know, even if he wasn't invincible, this was just like, again, you're still in that position where it's like I need to reposition to try to get a laser out.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I think we'll save some like punish and edge stuff for next time.
I practice punish on Fox almost like every day. It's so hard, man. Like...
Yeah, it is hard. It's more the edge guarding that I think that's going wrong more so than the punish, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have slow reactions, and like if someone just side Bs at me, they get like on stage for free like every time. Like it's not even funny.
Oh yeah. Like I never try and react to side B anymore on net play at least. It's too hard.
I wish I could say it was just net play. But,
okay, for me it's net play. For me it's...
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like, these sorts of spacings are going really well for you. Like, when you've got a bit of distance between you and you're not in a disadvantage, like, you're winning these spots nearly every time, which is great. So yeah, I do really think it's when you're already at some sort of disadvantage, that's when it's, like, really going wrong.
I don't know what he's doing here. He's like,
Yeah, he's just throwing out moves.
he's kind of like troll me or some shit. I don't know what's he doing.
No, I think these are all, like, in his head. He's like, oh, I might be able to up smash your laser, or like, oh, I might be able to up smash an aerial.
Yeah. Like I know when like I miss like a tech and then like it's like still fresh in my head, so I try and go for it again like right after. But like it felt like excessive like going for it also.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also like how he's been getting a lot of his openings versus you, right? It's just like sort of running into you, throwing out a move, and like in my mind, it's sort of hoping that you mess up and you get hit by it. But I know that's how a lot of these fast foxes like play the matchup. They just try and like throw out as many things as possible as quick as possible, and you know it's hard to deal with. So like all of this, like let's just quickly go through like what he was giving up. Because again, like all of this, when you're watching it in real time, it looks like, oh fuck, Fox is all over me, right?
Yeah.
So like here, he did that same full hop right off of your tech. So again, he's waiting for up tilt, back air, shine. So again, if you like full hop aerial him, if you dash this way, if you dash this way, all of those sort of get around this full hop. And then he lost an on-shield interaction here because we didn't wait long enough, right? Like, again, you want to wait for the hit after the aerial, so like the up tilt, the shine, whatever. And then this one you just but you know, there was like chances there, right?
Yeah.
And like even this aerial as well. Where is it? Like this down here. So I think if you just start to call out this full hop more, or at least play around it in some way, then again it's gonna make all these other options that you're doing better, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is honestly one of the main openings Foxes get on Falco. They sort of like get him in a bad spot and then they full hop over him, and Falco tries to defend himself and he just gets hit. But yeah, it's just kind of rough because it's like as soon as you mess that opportunity up to get out, like you only get a couple chances.
Yeah.
So as soon as it gets to like here and you're getting up tilted, it's like you're kind of fucked.
I tried to smash that last up air too, but it was like
And he's sucking it.
I was like,
he's
oh,
a slippy kid.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, awesome. Does that give you some stuff to think about with Fox then? Do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of shit to think about. Like honestly,
Awesome. There's a lot there, but
yeah, no, there is like, but yeah, that's why I asked that the video be saved because I'm gonna go over it with the fine-tooth comb, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of like implementing this, I would definitely just work on them one at a time. Try and watch some VODs of like some Falcos doing it as well, like looking for those things, and look through some more of your own VODs and sort of look for those sort of situations coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that'll help you feel a lot more comfortable in the matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, awesome. Yeah, so I'm actually away at main stage and then Smash World Tour for the next 2 weeks. So the next lesson is gonna have to be. I think I get back on the 14th of December. So if you want to schedule it for some time after that, no need to do it like today or anything.
Yeah, I'll just wait anyway. So, yeah,
but yeah, just a bit of a heads up that there's going to be a bit of a break for a little bit. But
that's great.
Yeah.
How often would you say would be good for like the lesson? Because I know I got like the 3 like package, like one a week or something, and obviously you're away. But like, what would you say would be a good? Like, how often should I?
How much do you play at the moment?
I play every day, but I just came back from like a huge hiatus. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm like
So, that's
de-roasted
fair.
first. That's why I'm like
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, I'd say like two weeks to a month. I'd say somewhere
Oh,
between
okay,
there.
yeah, that's grand.
Because
Yeah.
you don't want to do it too much that like you end up with this backlog of things to implement. Like all those things I told you today could easily take you like 3 months to implement them all.
Yeah, like if I could implement those in like a week, I'd be the best player in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like having a few things to work on in neutral and then a few in punish and all these things. I think like 2 weeks to a month is a good sort of
Okay, yeah.
amount. But yeah, I'll send you a link to this when it's uploaded. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to message me, and I'll respond when I can.
All right.
But otherwise, yeah, I'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you next time. Also, congrats on your win today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was a good set. There's actually a lot of these examples of the stuff we talked about in this sets. So
Oh,
might
there
be
you
good
go.
to
I'll
watch.
look at some frenzy VODs then tonight. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, see you in a bit, man.
All right. Bye. Take